hard work you put in. But when it comes time to battle, you must think about each and every day that you put that hard work in.
What happened? Why don't you play anymore?
Brian Banks was 16 years old when he was accused of a crime he did not commit.
Good evening, one. Hope everybody's doing well. This is the underrated dark, but sorry, do it again. Good evening, Welcome to my channel, The Underrated Darkness. Yours truly, the number one grinder. One of the best kept secrets on social media, the best of the business. Hope everybody is doing well. It's going to be some changes. There's going to be some changes from now on. The ones that I mentioned that I want them to come to the panel, those are ones I want to come to the panel. If I did not mention your name, not invited to the panel. Not invited to the panel at all. I'm waiting for some more people to get in. Cause there's certain things there's certain things I'm gonna just get off my chest tonight. So, brother Jesse, thanks for coming. Very much appreciate it. Waiting for some more people to come in. Hope everybody's doing well. Because I'm not doing the back and forth. I'm not going to stop and repeat myself. Not doing that. If you can hear me, press 1. Not doing that. Not doing that. That's how it's going to be. If I mention your name, that means you come. If I say yes, such, come up. If I don't mention your name, even if you see the link, if I ain't mention your name, that means don't come up. That's how I'm going to do it. That's how I'm going to do it. You don't like it? Those brothers and sisters, don't like it? You can leave. You can leave. People are telling y'all, I want order. I want order. So I'm going to put the link in the chat. Brother Garnali will come up. Put the link in the chat. I said, Brother God Nollywood, come up. I'm gonna do it like now. Come on up. Come on up. Good evening.
Hey, good evening, my brother. Hotel.
Hotel to you too. Before we continue, let me get this off. My channel is all about humanity. But also, my channel is not FBA. It's none of that. My channel is all about us as African people, diaspora around the world. That's my channel is about. And I will fight for our people no matter what. So if anybody want to claim, oh, this FBA or Pan-African or this and that, ain't none of that. I'm just a warrior to fight for our people, period. Globally. Don't like what I say? Know what to do. I had built my channel with some help of some people, but make sure that despite whatever happens, that we be as one as a people. That's one as people. It is so sad that even white supremacy, we know they wicked, but they stay on code. They stay on code. And us as a people, we can't even stay on code. Because see, what happened to Charlie Rich, we know the white boy done it, right? But you notice, they know that white boy did it. They stayed on code. Even despite they wrong, they stayed on code. He part of white supremacy? Yes. Because he felt Charlie Winston wasn't on code, so he has to go. System of showing the night. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. If I didn't highly say nothing to you earlier, I apologize. I apologize. Sorry about that. If I didn't say nothing to you, system of showing the night. But get back on what I'm saying. We gotta stay on code. That it pissed me off. That some of our people, we just don't get it, right? And before I go turn it back to Brother God now, I want you to read the title very carefully. I want you to read the title very carefully. Because we can deal with this. I've been dealing with this for years and years and years. That's what I asked Brother Garnali with, because we one of the few had talked about it throughout the years, and you still don't get it. I'm gonna tell you a story. I tell some of you already know about it, but I'm gonna tell you a story. And I want you to listen. I want you to listen. I want you to really listen. Because Brother God now, when he said underrated, you got to go back teaching tonight. So I'm teaching tonight. And I know there are some people in this space don't think I teach. That's what I feel about you. But to help others, you gotta teach. Once upon a time, this is a true story. Okay? This ain't no making up. This ain't no that. And it got something to do with the title and what we gonna deal with it tonight. As I said in the past, especially on my mother's side of the story, that I have Indians come from mother's side of the family. And also that I said that the Indians had enslaved African Americans little over 100 years. Look it up. Had paid by this federal government. Denied citizenship I want you to look at the damn background. I don't want to hear it didn't happen. I don't want to hear none of that. No, I'm not trying to hear none of that. Either black man, black woman, wherever it is. Not trying to hear that. I'm not trying to hear that. So don't come with no nonsense. Hey, Catherine, how you doing? See you in a while. How you feel? How you feel, sis? Thanks for coming. Well, but I want you to go support the channel. Great channels in here. But support Catherine. Great channel. All about family and stuff. And we miss you. You need to come back more. And I'm gonna go return the favor, come back more. But let me get back into this. If you got sensitive ears, your sensitive ways, when I'm getting ready to say this is not the place for you, I'm letting you know right now. This is not the place for you. But I am telling the truth. As I say, that my mother's side of the family from Durham, North Carolina, they was raised, they were part of black Indians and all that. But when I was doing my own investigation, when I was 6, 7, and 8 years old, I found out that Indians was enslaving our people. Look at the background picture. You see the thumb there. I should have switched it, but it's all right. Look at the background picture of the story I'm getting ready to tell y'all. My late father and my late father and my mother's mother, my grandmother, never got along. Now, they always get into it ever since my mom's married my father and stuff. You know, my mom had kids already and my father had kids already. But, you know, just want to give you a little picture of it. So, and also, let me put this out there. Me and my father never really hit it off, you know, until when we got in the decade of the 80s and I got older, we started getting closer and closer and stuff. We had a little, you know, my son, you know, you grew up be a man, you know, you're going to go ahead. But we started getting along better. So I was at my grandma's house in the mid 80s. And this incident popped up talking about, Jerry, I'm Indian and stuff. I said, Grandma, with all due respect, you know, you part of the tribe that enslaved our people. Now, as a parent, my mother and father, especially my father at the time, he remembered because he took me to the library and do this history when I was 7, 8. Because the school bus didn't want to drop me off wherever, you know, some technicality BS, you ask me. But so I did the history, and he remembered. He said, "Whoa, hold up." And I was like, "What is you talking about? Let my son talk." So I break down the history, and that's why you see my father beneath you, right? Because I want you to look back here. See, the Indians, the head of the tribe, was their helper was the black woman, some black women, and some black men. And I also heard that from my mother, my grandmother, throughout the years, indirectly. She didn't know I was listening, but I was listening. I said, that's why you don't really care for black men. Now understand this though. As a young black boy, man, going to be a man, right? Teenager. Seeing this going on, this is long before I came into the world, before 1966. So this has been going on. My mother was in the middle of it. Why she, and so things happen right here. So I said, I'm ready to leave. I want to be my best friend, my best friends, Oh, sorry. If y'all can hear me, press 1. I got to do the announcement in a few. But if y'all can hear me, press 1. If y'all can hear me, press 1. I'm sorry. Sorry, my manners. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm real sorry. I apologize. I take the L for that. If y'all can hear me, press 1. I'm sorry. If y'all can hear me, press 1 before I continue. There was brother God Nollywood. Could you hear me? Okay, cool. Okay, gotcha. Okay. So my mother in the middle of it. Thank you, brother. From my mother in the middle of it. I didn't want to, but that's her mother. So she going to mother. But my father, like, hey, it's your family. I understand you got your mom. Family comes first. No doubt. My mom, no problem. She had my back. And I see my mother differently, even throughout the years. Like, I still look. Because she always say, yeah, when you get a man, you got to make sure that you in charge. It ain't going to be, doing like that. You know what I mean? Like, so I said, oh. So I said, so you were the Indian slave on the right hand person, huh? I did. Like I said, go back, salute to your nephew. It goes back that I did my own investigation years before that. And I know that when I got older, now, they don't want to talk about it. Then you got in the early 90s, that's when it really came out. But I was talking about it. I couldn't see my grandmother the same way. Really. I couldn't see our people just want to claim to be Indian. But you enslave our people. You even denied citizenship. Get the background picture. There, if you don't believe me, y'all can Google it. How you claim yourself the Indian, and these are the same ones that oppressed us too. This is the same federal government gave them money to enslave us. Do y'all know New York was the main state was funded slavery? The stocks and bonds, you see that? Oh, the backs, you see that? They had it almost much more dirty than the South. Because I do my history. That's what I say. When New York has got so much dirt in them, it's pit. When it comes to us as people of African descent, it's possible. Yeah, look at the back. Look at it. So again, my channel is not FBA, it's not Pan African, it's none of that. My channel is all about humanity, yes, no doubt. But also still fighting for the rights for our people to exist. Us African people exist globally. And I'm not apologizing for what I'm saying. I stand on it. I stand by it back then, and I stand on it now. I do sports, I do all that. Yes, I do all of that. Yes, I am. And I do it well. By the help of y'all, I thank you very much throughout the years. But I do this well. This the person I'm getting ready to bring on, Brother God Nolly. Would he the one tell me, actually, yo, brother, you got to get back teaching. And so, oh, he just souping them up in the no. Because he said, you got to get back teaching, brother. I miss you teach. So I'm teaching tonight. I'm putting on my hat. I'm teaching. Because even we fought for this country. We made the country to what it is right now. And we ain't got nothing for it. We ain't got nothing for it. Every race had a piece of the pie to enslave us. Take our reparations. Every nationality had a piece of the pie that we created as African people. But see, y'all don't want to talk about that, right? I'm just telling. I'm just stating facts. Now we're gonna bring my brother Guy Nollywood. You could on Mark and just say what you need to say, please, before we continue.
Thanks for having me, brother. Underrated. Appreciate you. Man, this is another deep program. I love your last two programs I joined on. Rest in peace again to our Pan-African sister, Asita Shakur.
Yeah.
And I know a certain individual don't like to hear that, but she was definitely Pan-African. And she was for the Black liberation movement. Because you can't separate Black from Africa. You just can't do that. This don't make any sense. There's no such thing as separating the two. But you're right. You know, we talked about the five tribes that took part into chattel slavery. And they benefited. You know, this is the reason why those five tribes got wealthy or got you own casinos and stuff like that. And what bothers me, you know, you got these Black folks, they claiming these tribes that they don't got nothing to show for nothing. You know, what do you got something to show for it? And I wanted to address this person about being a Blackfoot. And I know I discussed this to you underrated because a lot of the times people have this misconception of Blackfoot. There's a group of people, a tribe, Indian tribe called Blackfoot that did not take part of chattel slavery. Not all. Nay, they're not one of the five tribes that took part of the chattel slave. However, it's not an ethnicity. You know, their tribe, this tribe is not an ethnicity. And the reason why they was called Blackfoot, the reason why these Indians called Blackfoot, because of the dark color of their soles, or the shoes that they wore, called let me see if I can pronounce it, the moccasins. They wore moccasins shoes, right? And the reason why that, because the dark color is like a dark blackened color on their soles. That's the reason why they were called Blackfoot. Has nothing to do with their ethnicity. And that's what I noticed, that when black people, they don't know, that's what I'm saying, you know, where they were just making up stuff because they don't want to be called, they don't want to be themselves. They don't want to be who they are. And what I've heard, it was self-hate. That's all I was heard. It was self-hate. And they trying to equate FBA with this Native Indian stuff. And then these are the same people who insult African people, insult African descendants. Like I said, I was raised in Harlem. That's most everybody from Harlem are Pan-Africans. This is the reason why we celebrate Pan-Africanism. This is the reason why we celebrate what Marcus Garvey did. We celebrate. We have a Marcus Garvey Boulevard. We have a Malcolm X Boulevard and all that stuff. We celebrate our greats that lived in Harlem. You know, so, and like I said again, I always have to wonder, when I talk to a black man, I always got a question, what did his woman look like? What did his woman look like? And as this individual, his woman didn't look like my wife. So it's definitely, when we hear black people take on these Native Indian names, it's a form of self-hate. I don't care what nobody says. And I hate to say this, they already letting you know that they're your enemy. They're your enemy. Yeah, they will act like they're on your team. This is the reason why I had to let a few people go, because they were false flagging. I don't like people that is going to pretend they're on my side when they're not on my side. They'll talk your talk. They act like they're down with you, but they're really not down with you. They're not down with you. And this is what you keep it. Oh, I'm Blackfoot. Don't even know that has nothing to do with ethnicity, but they're going to keep saying it. I'm Cherokee or whatever. There's a book called Red Masters and Black Slaves. There's a book out there. Red Masters and Black Slaves. And then if my whole thing is this, if you're going to take on these people's culture, don't sit there and say you don't know their culture. So then you claim you're going to create a culture. That's not, then if you have to create a culture, then you cannot claim Blackfoot. You cannot claim Cherokee. You cannot claim that. There's no such thing. I'm going to create a whole new culture. That's a lie. So when I ask people who's claiming Cherokee, Seminole, Blackfoot, I ask them, what is your language? What is your dances? Because your dances have to be Indian dances. It can't be African dances. Break dances, African. That's not Indian. And I would challenge anybody on that. Anybody. Because they won't win that. They won't win that debate. I don't like when people gotta say the most dumbest stuff. Oh, well, you claim you Pan-African. How come you're not in Africa? I just told you why. I said I was Pan-African. I just told you why. I said I was Pan-African. That's the dumbest question. I hate that. Why are you not in Africa? You claim you Pan-African. I just told you why. I'm Pan-African. Pan means abroad. Why you don't have dual citizenship? That's my choice. But that's not gonna, but I still practice some of the culture there. I still practice my culture. And see, these are the questions they would ask, and these are black people who hate themselves, and they would interrogate other black people about who they are, but they won't do that to the Asians. They don't ask the Asians who never been to China, if you claim you're Asian, why you don't go to Asia? They don't tell them that. I met this guy. He was Chinese, and that's the first thing he said. I was Chinese, but I've never been to China. But guess what? He still practices Chinese culture. He spoke a little Mandarin, but he let you know I'm Chinese first. He never said he was an American. He said, yeah, I'm an American. I was born here. I'm an American, but I'm Chinese first. I'm Asian first. I never seen any Asian interrogate an Asian descent. I never seen that. I never seen Europeans I never seen where people who Europeans or white people attacking other white people about their European, saying they're European descent. Donald Trump is German. He made it perfectly clear that he was German. You never heard white people interrogating him saying, oh, well, if you German, how come you ain't living in Germany? Brother, some of our people, we have a serious problem. It's called that this post-traumatic slave syndrome is real. This generational trauma is real. And that's who I was talking to. I was talking to a dude who had post-traumatic slave syndrome. He hated himself. And I you know, and I did not like, and I didn't want to go off on this on your channel, brother. I'm a type of person, I respect people's platforms. And I apologize because I should have just, maybe I should just took myself off the panel. Because I know how gangster I can get. A lot of these dudes, they talk all big and bad on YouTube, and they haven't put in one work. Exactly. Exactly, Knight. Facts. Glad you came through, man. Glad you came through. So a lot of these guys, they want to act tough, and they haven't put in one work. I'm not gonna sit here and argue with somebody who's confused. I don't deal with tribalism. I don't get down like that. I want global African power. See, when I talk about real power, some black people don't want that because some black people are scared. They're scared of power, real power, global power. They scared. This is the reason why they're so dependent on their enemy. They so dependent on white folks. They need white people. That's the reason why I asked that dude, you claim this is your country, but you letting somebody else run it. Because if you claim you Blackfoot, Blackfoot did not build this country. Let's get into it. Show me proof that a Blackfoot Indian built this country, skyscrapers, put money in this country. Show me how they built this country. If you Blackfoot, if you Cherokee, show me. But I can show you that enslaved Africans built this country called United States. I know that for a fact. I know that for a fact. Then this individual wore a t-shirt called reparations. What do you want reparations for? What do you want reparations for? You an American. What do you want reparations for? Reparations for dealing with the African Holocaust. When you have these small hats, when they was asking for reparations, what would they say? They said it was for the Jewish Holocaust. Why are they teaching us about the Jewish Holocaust, but they did not want to teach us about the African Holocaust? Because they know they had to give up reparations. So they try to hide it. They try to make it seem that enslaved Africans were happy. That they was happy. They didn't like where they was living, and some sort of way, this white man or white people, because I put them all together, white man, white woman, and child, put them all together. How they civilized the African man, even though African people was already civilized. Was civilized way before the Europeans even existed on this planet. On this planet. The real humans who created humanity were African people. Everybody outside of Africa were considered Neanderthals. Like I said, don't take my word for it. I tell people, you want to know how the Indians look? Read Christopher Columbus. Read his captain's log. He'll tell you in detail how these native Indians looked. He didn't say they looked African. He knew what African people was. He seen African people. He didn't say these Indians look African people, look African. I don't need somebody to tell me what Dr. Claude Anderson, I follow Dr. Claude Anderson. I don't follow nobody. I might be a student to some of the greats, but I don't follow them. Because you can never be a leader if you continue following people. You can never be a teacher if you could continue following somebody. So people got to understand the difference between being a student and being a follower. Students become teachers. So I want to get that straight. But again, all this Indian stuff, that FBA came from Tariq Nasheed. Like I said, look at his family. He don't have a black family. He has a mixed wife. He has a European mother-in-law. That he has a European father that he's taking care of. That's in there. I believe that they in his house. He lives in a gated community. Yvette Carnell, who came up with Adolf, she's a lesbian. Do not like men. And Dr. Claude Anderson, he's all about writing a book. Knight said Indians never built this country, but the Arabs and Indians from other places swear they did. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. It was built by black people. They were original slaves owners. And yeah, correct. The Arabs enslaved our people, the European Arabs, because they consider themselves white too. The European Arabs, the Portuguese, the Spaniards, I can go on and on. The French, I can go on and on. They had to, and look at Benjamin Banneker. Benjamin Banneker was an African man. He was an African man. He was the one who built DC. And he used comedic science. He used what he saw in Africa because that's what he knew. This man was very intelligent.
Yeah. And also, I mean to cut you off. And he the one that y'all talking about the World Almanac. He the one created. I just want to put it in, brother. You can go right
Look at the Washington Monument. What is the Washington Monument? The Washington Monument is the Tekken that you see in Africa. That you see in Africa and Egypt. The Tekken. Look that up. A black man built that. He didn't say these people didn't call themselves Indian. I remember what I tell you about the brother Mr. T. About the Mohawk. Remember that? I told you about the Mohawk. And he said, no, oh, they thought the Mohawk was some Indian stuff. He said, no. It comes from the Mandinka warriors in West Africa. The Mandinka warriors. The Mandinka kingdom. The Indians took a lot of stuff from African people. That's where they got the feathers and all that stuff, the hairstyles and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? They got a lot of that stuff from African people. They stole stuff too. They culture vultures too. So we got to understand that everybody takes stuff from African people. Everyone. Everybody takes stuff from Africa and they probably put their own spin on it. I even asked the brother, I said, have you taken your DNA? Oh, he don't believe in DNA. Well, there you go. You don't believe in science. You don't even trust science. But I bet you if you was accused of rape, I bet you're gonna take that DNA. I bet you some girl said that you got her pregnant and she claimed that you're the father, or I bet you'll take that DNA. What do you mean you don't trust DNA? They doing tested DNA on mummies that's been around over 6,000, almost 10,000 years. What are you talking about? I realize that most of these people are very uneducated. We're gonna have underrated. We're gonna have to do background checks on people. I've said that in many of my videos. We're gonna have to do background checks on that people. We're gonna have to see how their spouse look. We're gonna see how their women look. We're gonna have to see how their girlfriends look. We're gonna see if they're really about that life. We got to check their educational background. We got to do all that because I'm sick and tired of arguing with black people and they sound dumb as hell. And if you look at their life, it's the total opposite what they preach about. Total opposite. I'm tired of it.
Oh, let me say this.
Go ahead.
The ones that down with the Black Panther Party that made significant contribution, we thank you. I thank you. I say that. Thank you. Now I got that out the way. I'm sorry. Are you finished, bro? I'm sorry. Are you finished?
Yeah, I'm pretty much done, brother. Go ahead.
Like for now, okay. I want you to see the picture again. I want you to see it. We don't even talk about the Arabs, because the Arabs the first one that enslaved us. And I'm gonna tell you, to this day, the Arabs still enslave our African people now. Right this minute. But look at this picture, y'all. We talk about the Arabs. We talk about the whites, and the rest of the races did have a part of enslavement of African people around the world. But we never really want to talk about what's in the back. So proud, right? Look, I want y'all to look at the picture. Because I believe people have pictures tells the truth. I want you to look at that picture. Look at that picture. Background picture. And that's the history that America do not want us to talk about. There's 5 tribes that Brother Jesse was talking about in the chat. Shout out to you. And the brother guy and I was talking about. Federal government had paid those tribes to enslave us. Actually having sex with our women, raping our women too. There are some of them that was willing to have sex with them too. Gotta say that. I know it's painful. Even there are some black men that want to have sex with the Indian woman. Say one day enslave us too. I know that y'all don't want to hear, but it's true. It's documented. And along the way, now we hit like the 1900s now. And Brother God and Ali will tell me if I'm right or wrong. When you want, if I got it like a certain time wrong or something, I said something wrong, I stand to be corrected. Now we hit the 1900s, hitting out the going into the 1920s. That's when the Dixiecrats was born. That's practically in the South. That's when they came up with the $5 Indians. So the Indians made a deal with the devil that we call USA government. Cut them a check. That's why they have reservations all around this world, around this country. Off our backs as African descent. That's why they get reparations and all of that. But they want to claim that they're African. Can't claim that they're African Indians. Because you bit off the devil, you bit off Eve's fruit. You bit it off. And along the way, through decades and decades and decades, every nationality got their own reparations of the backs of African people.
That's right.
A lot of people could talk about, what happened, the Jews got slaughtered and that was wrong, but they didn't never say that they also Africans got slaughtered too. And then your Germans. Why don't you tell the people how you enslave and slaughter Africans in the late 1800s? Germans. Look it up. Every country has of their own way had enslaved and slaughter African people. And the Indians was the part of it. Thank you, nephew. But we want to claim them, huh? Look at the picture. Look at it. Yeah, nephew, I appreciate you. Do. So brother God now he said, yo, we need you to teach. Okay, I'm gonna teach. I'm gonna put on my and I know people gonna think, oh, he ain't no teacher. He ain't this and that. All right. Wherever I teach, I guarantee it's truth. And why are we gonna have these conversations? Often. Why? We should. Well, it's got to be a certain tribe here to talk about it, and a certain tribe here to talk about why we can't collaborate and we out the differences. Let's talk. Because you got that thing. Oh, I'm smarter than him, or I'm smarter than her. I've been around more places than that person. How do you know that? It really. I'm very pissed off over this because we should know better. But like I said before, we not on code. I'm talking about some of us as African people, we on code. We are. Now let me say that. But the rest of y'all, you're not on code. It's sad that the wicked ones is on code, and the ones that some of y'all call y'all righteous, you're not on code. Automatically, the righteous should know to be on code. See, I could back myself up. I had proven I could work with anybody. I could talk to anybody. Thank you, I appreciate it. But we still have to take racist trash. We human beings. We need to get along and stuff. Why when it comes to us as African people, why we gotta fall out on our code?
Yep. Yep.
Why? But y'all wicked one, y'all stay on code. Yes, y'all do. Y'all can say all you want. Yes, you do. And even some of our people too. Yes, you do. Because when y'all want to talk about your race, y'all say, I'm with my race. I don't care what anybody says. But when it comes to Africans, come to us as Africans, when we say we want to be pure to, oh, no, you shouldn't do that. That's wrong. You racist and stuff. You're so backwards and pathetic. It's crazy. It really is. But y'all the same ones getting reparations, still getting raised off the back of Africans around the world. Look at the background picture. There's gonna be some. It's old, underrated. Why you bring it? Oh no, it's prominent right now because happening because the illness is traveling now.
That's right. That's right.
But y'all don't want to talk about it. You go ahead, bro. You add on one.
Yeah, we have to read Joy DeGroy book, post traumatic slave syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? She's a Pan-African sister. See the people that I talk to, they know they're African people. They know they're African people. And you hear them when they do when they speak. You know they say it. They know that we came from Africa. You know. So this whole thing, you got to understand, underrated. This whole thing that we hearing this obsession with Indian people. This came out. I started hearing this all the way back in 2016 when you had Dave, what's his name, Dave Calloway and all these other folks coming out there with that nonsense. And it just started to spread like wildfire for some apparent reason. And then the ADOS came out, and that, of course, that didn't last too long. And it just seemed like to me, it just keeps transitioning because it just don't stick. It just don't stick. So now they relate FBA. They relate FBA with India. Well, you know, I'm Blackfoot and I'm FBA. And what I do not like when people disrespect me and say that I'm something that I never claimed. And just because I might be a citizen of the United States doesn't make me an American. It doesn't make me an American because I'm not getting the same privileges as white folks that was born here. We've been deprived for a long time. We've been deprived for a long time. We've been unalive for no apparent reason. You know what I'm saying? Our business has been shut down, you know, because of jealousy and hatred, and there was no protection. There was no protection. You know, and so I don't need somebody to say, well, I'm an American. And I say, well, you don't own nothing here in America. What do you own? When are you going to take your country back if you claim that you're Indian? Ain't nobody stopping you. Ain't nobody stopping you. The reason why you don't want to do anything because you think white people is your Lord and Savior. You think they're your master. You got so caught up into them dominating you, and now you feel like you feel like the only thing you are is just a peasant in their world. So putting on a shirt that calls reparations, you're not getting that. You're not getting that. You're fooling yourself. You're not out there fighting for it. You're not out there fighting for it. I hate that. I don't like when people claiming something and it has nothing to do of what they into. When that reparation came from did you know reparation started with Marcus Garvey? He was the one who said that. He was saying that Europeans need to give back what they stole. You can read that in the book called Philosophy and Opinions. He said this. That reparations came from him. It came from a brother that came from Jamaica. I know that bothers some people. Oh my God, because everybody because E.B.B. Du Bois, he had a problem with it too. And then realized later on, after Marcus Garvey dies, he realized Marcus Garvey was right. Why do we have to wait until when somebody's right? When somebody dies, we realize, oh man, that person was right. Same thing with Malcolm X. He's no longer here, man. Malcolm X. I wish I would have believed him when he was alive. It's too late. Because I'm gonna be honest with you. When we don't see and we know something is right, when we see something is right and we neglect it, or because of jealousy, because of envy. I never had that in my heart. I never got upset with other black people. I look at black people, we all the same. I never had that hatred like that. Or you Jamaican, or you Haitian, and I never had that. We all come from the same fight. Slavery just didn't only happen in the United States. It was everywhere. It was in Brazil. It was in Mexico. It was in the Caribbeans. Then you had colonization where white people went over there and like South Africa went over came up with apartheid. This is an ancient war. When do people got to understand that? Ain't nobody our friends. I can't live like that. I can't live like that, hating on other black people when I know that I know I'm going to need him or need her. It's a spiritual bond. This is an ancient spiritual bond. And I'm not going to destroy it because their background differences or culture or a few culture differences. I can't live like that. I can't live in that hatred like that, but embrace a group of people who hates my guts. That doesn't make any sense to me. And I bet you that brother, well, he's not my brother because he made sure he's not an African man. I bet you let him go to a Blackfoot reservations and see what happens. See what happens. They were spat on him. I'm gonna use the word spat. They were spat on him. They were asked for credentials. So you got to show me paperwork. They can never go. They won't never go to them, but they'll come to us. They'll come to like me and you, underrated. Oh, I'm Blackfoot. I'm Cherokee. I'm Choctaw. It's a shame. It's a shame, and it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. A lot of these dudes don't even like black women. They don't even like black women. They'll get with the other race of women, and they'll say, "Oh well," and they want to claim pro-black. Well, I'm pro-black, but their woman is not black, and vice versa. I'm pro. You got these black women. They get with the most lightest dude they can find. Well, I'm pro-black, but their man is not pro-black. It's sickening. And we talk about these Indians that did not like black, that are not like African people. Look at Gandhi. Didn't Gandhi was Indian? Ain't Gandhi's East Indian? He did not like African people.
Yep.
He made that perfect. You can read about his racist statements towards African people, and he's East Indian. They all the same. The Indians come from India. That's what they call an Indian. They come from India, and they just travel.
And he got a Nobel Peace Prize.
Yes. See, black people need to wake up. And I'm using the word black as political terms because I know that's what we use. But that's not who we are. That's not our ethnicity. Then we can say that we can claim that as that race. So when people say, and that's another thing underrated, I hate when people say, I'm black and I'm Jamaican. What the hell does that mean? I'm black and I'm Jamaican. I'm black and I'm Cuban. I'm black and I'm German. I'm black. What is that? What does the black part mean? What does that mean? I was talking to this one brother, and he's a dark-skinned dude. He's a dark-skinned guy. And he said his father was black and his mother was Cuban. And I said, what race is your father again? He said, oh, my father was black. I said, what race is your mother? I said, what race? He kept saying Cuban. I said, no, what race was your mother? He did not want to say black. I said, yeah, I know your mother was black. There's a lot of black people in Cuba, a lot of African people in Cuba. Now, maybe your mother came from Haiti and traveled to Cuba. Maybe she came from other places, where black people was at and just came to Cuba. Her family came to Cuba for whatever and just lived there. He kept saying, so they keep associating with black with America. Now, I know what he meant. Instead of him saying, my father was an African in America and my mother was an African Cuban, he did not say that. So there's some hatred there. There's some hatred, there's self-hatred. And they look at other countries that's not African, and they kind of give this praise. They will acknowledge that. Oh, look, my mother's Cuban. My mother is this and that. My mother's German, and they can't never say, hey, my father is from Angola. My mother, they don't like to name the countries in Africa. That's a problem. It's a serious problem. It's a self-hate issue that our people still have in 2025. And it's sick to my stomach. So, yeah, I yield the mic, girl. Go ahead, brother.
I'm saying, and go to this history, all right, that's where they come with the $5 Indians. And illegally Let me put this up before I continue history, because we not playing tonight. Let's read this. Let's unpack this, brother, before I continue. You reading it, bro?
Yeah, I see it. You want me to address it or what?
Yeah, address a little bit, and I continue the history, man. Cause
He said everybody enslaved everybody. Where do you think the word slave come from? Slave means Slavic. We're not Slavic people. People need to understand what slave means. We're not Slavic people. Slave means Slavic. He said where the word slave come from, Slavic people who were in fact white. Okay. Yeah, Slavic is white folks. That's what Slavic come from. Sadly, left-wing markets don't teach you the real history. Okay. Okay. I don't understand your point, but okay.
well,
That's not what we're talking about here, but all right.
exactly. You came in. Well, see, this is the thing that what you wrong at, right? Welcome back, Catherine. So what? So what's up with Africans do not like blacks from this country? That's a good question. That's another one to impact. That's a good question, Catherine. It is. But see, bro, no, HP, no. Before I continue, see, you come in and you want to put your own interpretation of it, and you're not reading the title. The title so you can engage. If you're not gonna read, if you're not gonna do it, you might as well just leave. Y'all just cannot come in certain conversations and y'all not reading the title. We're not entertaining this, man. I'm not. We're not entertaining this tonight. Okay. All right. This what we gonna do, brother Nollywood. I'm gonna show it. Want to be exposed? He be exposed. Who do you think rounded up the first Africans to be slaves? It was their own ancestors. Oh. Really? Do you really think that? Who taught you that? But get back what I'm saying. Then along the way, the atrocity was happening around the world. German and Japan. All these countries.
Bro, let me say, let me cut you off. This is
No,
what
go
I'm talking
ahead.
about. This is what I'm talking about. Distraction. Remember we was talking about that? People distraction.
That's
People coming.
distraction. It is.
Now he reads. This person reads the title. He know what it is.
Right.
But he wants to blame everything again. You know the typical hateful where they want to blame everything on Africa and all this other Africa. And there was no chattel slavery in Africa. You can say whatever you want, but there was no chattel slavery in Africa. Okay, so I don't know, and I would bet this person everything. I would bet everything he owns that's worth. So if you got money in your bank account, and if there's over 10 G's, I would bet everything in your bank account that Africa did not have uh, chattel slavery in Africa among their own people. And let me say this: just like any other uh, people, we have people fight. People might have commit crimes, and people serve time. People became prisoners of wars. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, black people. There've been wars in Africa. Black people fighting black people for whatever reasons, but they was prisoners. They worked off the land, and some of them joined into tribes. Some of them had to pay a debt off. So if they had an old debt, they had to work off the land. But that wasn't called slavery. That wasn't slavery. So, like I said, when you don't do your homework and you just going by what somebody else is saying, because you don't want to be the blame of your wrongdoings, that's a form of stupidity. That is. That means you don't know nothing about Africa. You just going by what you just regurgitating what some moron had told you. And I don't care if their moron was your parents. And I'll take it there. Because if your parents told you, they need to go back to school. Go ahead, brother. I just want to throw that in there.
Oh, brother, they probably looking at this picture and they feel guilt.
Yep. That's right.
Y'all like this picture? That's what some of y'all triggered. But it's true. Let me put my head out so y'all can see it. See that? All right, now we get back to the history. Along the way, America paid debt. Then you got 1948. It's Israel. The Palestinians said Israel had violated, they took their land as rightfully theirs and stuff. And what happened? What the United States had done? Give reparations to Israel, close to $3 billion a year ever since. But no talk about African people. Now, there are scholars back then have brought it up. I got to throw that in too. But there was nothing. Matter of fact, the late great Dr. Henry Clark talked about this. So along the way, we go through Jim Crow, Prohibition years. That's when they stopped making alcohol, and then supposed to be U.S. Don't like it, but they brought it back years later, and then they make it money, right? Because there was a lot of illegal things was happening of different races that they were doing. But again, us as people, we wasn't getting nothing. We serve your country. We have proven that we the best of any sport. And we still come back as second-class citizens. Sometimes without us feel part of it. We had did heroic things throughout the world. We have practically everything in this world. These are facts. But get back to this USA. speeded up the Korean War and stuff like that back in the 50s and all that. Then we hitting civil rights movement. Now there was a civil rights movement back like 30, 40 years before that. I'm talking about 1960. I'm talking about 30, 40 beyond. It was a civil rights movement back then. And one of them was headed Dr. Vernon Johns. I want you to look the name of Dr. Vernon Johns. He was the one talks about Africa. He was the one that we need to keep the money in our community. He wanted to fight one of the pastors wanted to fight against the system. Died, I believe, 1964-65. He was 75. Vernon Johns. I want you to look it up. But now we get back to civil rights movement. We fight for freedom, to be in existence and stuff. And look what happened out of all that. Yeah, we got some bills passed and everything. Who the one benefited from it actually throughout that case is the white woman. And everything else except the Africans. Us as Africans. Now you can bring up, but they were it's feminine. You got the feminist movement, all the type movement, LGBT, all that stuff. Right? Where the Africans at? And you got some Africans along the way have spoke up against the system, and so we got to put that in perspective. And we thank you, we salute you. Then you got some talking about black on black crime and all that junk happened, but they commit most crime. They always talking about us black people at jails. I mean, other Africa. Yes, we do have. We have that we have gangs. But check this out though. We don't own capital because them gangs, they have capital. You got the Mexican gang, you got the German gang, you got the white Nazi gang. All of them had capital, except they said people of color. But even you got some Mexicans and Hispanics join together, make sure they had capital. What about the Africans? Right? And they committed crimes. But see, y'all don't want to touch them because because y'all give loan, they pay to the debt to white supremacy. That's all it counts, right? Now speed it up, all this going on. 1998, 2000, all that. Now we had back-to-back hangings. Now along the way we had hangings all throughout the United States. Let me say that throughout decades. But we got 2 in Mississippi last week. Where's the terrorist bill? Where's the domestic terrorist bill to protect Africans in this country? Chinese got a bill to protect them, but y'all enslave us, right? And people will say, "Oh, they enslave you or labor." No. They also enslave us as financial too. But see, y'all don't want to hear that. Huh? And the black woman that do support the black man and make sure that he's okay, y'all go after her too. Isn't that something, brother?
That's right. That's so true.
And so we ain't got nothing to show for it. Now there are some have been successful and they fight for us and everything. We're not talking about y'all, some brothers and sisters. We're not talking about y'all. We're not. You know? So when you call yourself Indians, you better take a good look at this. That's your opposed. That's your opposing. There it is right there. Then you got people coming in this chat, want to put trying to dilute the conversation. You're not gonna dilute no conversation. You got the nerve to say to us Africans we enslave our own. That's crazy. Excuse me. But it's good. Y'all come on. Make my child look good. Make our family look good. So what we said, we could debunk it and put a cap on it. Y'all got it. But these are the same people is being misled. They tell the truth, huh? But they being misled. And it's sad. All right, go more to the history. And the $5 Indians become multi-million Indians. And that's when you start seeing throughout the years of property. Put casinos, houses around it. And because they got to play ball. If y'all know what I mean. Look at the picture. That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And look at the chief. So proud. Got me a bunch of them. I can use them. Look at that. But y'all got nerve talking about the Arabs and the white man and other races. But look. So proud. Look how proud you. Look how. Let me go this way. Look how proud he is. Yeah, get it together because the truth is here. Anything you want to add on, my brother?
Oh man. I forgot one more thing too. You know, these also too, when Europeans they didn't know the land, so if the enslaved Africans ran away, guess who they called on? They called on them same Native Indians. And they used to use them as dog catchers. You know what I'm saying? They get the Native Indians, get the dogs, and because of course the Native Indians knew the land better. You know what I'm saying? So they worked the red man and the white man. I'm not saying all of them. They have worked side by side. Okay. Um, and my question I want to ask this to all you pretending Negropeans out there, where's your casino at? Where's your wealth at? Why are y'all so broke? That's what I'm saying. Why are y'all so broke? Why are y'all struggling? You a Blackfoot. Where's your reparations? Where's your reservation? Where's your piece of the Indian pie? I'm just saying, because you cannot claim something and try to you're not going to do that. You're not going to claim something and try to repackage it. You're not going to do that. You're not going to do that. You're not going to say, well, we had to change out. We had to create our. There's no creating nothing. So that's another lie. That's why you know when people's lying, when they say foolishness like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. But this been an excellent program, man.
Yeah, we're going to close it out.
This been a really good program, and I'm glad we got this out because this was necessary. And I hope people on the chat learned something. And just do the homework, just do the research. Just the information's out there. You know, you get information just a click of a button. You don't have to even go to the library to find all this out. It's a click of a button. I don't understand that, but it just shows you how somehow people. You got people out here I'm not saying all, but you got people out here. Some people just lazy. They don't want to do the research. The information is out there. You know. So like I said, it's a book called. And I'm just going to say this again. It's a book called Red Masters and Black Slaves. There's an actual book. Yeah. And you can see there's photos in it to prove it. There's photos to back it up. Actual photos. So I'm glad that we did this. This was necessary. And again, Underrated, I want to thank you for having me to spread this knowledge and wisdom. And I appreciate you. And I appreciate everybody in the chat that was active and showed love to our brother. And with that said, that's all I have to say, brother. This was a good show.
That's your last remarks?
That's my last remarks.
All right, stay right there, brother. Stay right there. We'll close out together. I've been at this for a long time. For a long time. And if you don't know, just read. Now, people say, "Won't you debate?" I'm not doing no debating. Don't ask me to debate. Don't ask me nothing. Well, us as African, throughout the dysphoria, if I pronounce the word wrong, I'm sorry. You better learn. They would enslave us without citizenship. He actually killed us. Thank you, Captain. Please come back too. I'm gonna start getting on your thing on TikTok too. And I'm gonna say, y'all, I might have to get a new TikTok account. Somebody hacked it, and I got a lot of great stuff in it, so I might have to start over again. But I'll talk to you about how you go about doing that. I'll call you tomorrow and we talk about. Or you want me to call you if you miss? Let me know. So I'll probably be back in TikTok in a few days. So. But do your history, yo. Do your history, family. Just change the. Okay. But how am I doing that, though? Okay. Well, cat. Email me, Captain. I think you already have it, but email me if you got it, Captain. Captain, I want to make sure that before I get on, Captain, do you have my email right now? If you let me know you have it, I'm gonna erase it. Oh, just let me know you copy it so I can erase it, fire it off. But that if you want to add on, brother, until you know, because she's doing something, you can add on whatever you want before we get on.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, people just got to wake up. You know what I'm saying, and stop. This delusional talk. Um, and again, we have to. People have to just show respects. Um, because today it was inappropriate to start an argument with me because the person and then the person gonna lie and said that, and I had to credit. I said, no, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. That's a lie. Why,
Okay.
you wouldn't quote me right. But it was not appropriate time to be somebody trying to argue with me about something on somebody on when we still mourning, we still mourning of our good sister like this. So it just shows you the disrespect. And like I said, I'm never lie when it comes down to these FBAs when they have this motive of trying to start a fight or argument, um, because they don't like somebody attacking their ideology. Because that's all it is an ideology, you know. So yeah, so it wasn't the right time to do that. And I didn't come on the platform to be beefing back and forth with somebody who was basically delusional, So and like I said again, people got to understand, if you're gonna call yourself Blackfoot, you got to know what it's not an ethnicity. It's basically is the soul of the shoes, of the moccasins shoes that the Indians wore. People got to understand that. And like I said, you don't have to take my word for it. You can look it up to yourself. Look up the word Blackfoot. That's all I gotta say. Just put up Blackfoot Indians. They'll tell you where that name is coming from. So, and I hope the guy hears me. I hope the guy understands that. If he's watching, I hope he understands that whoever told him he was Blackfoot, they told him a big lie. So it's not an ethnicity. It's basically is something you wear. But again, you're right. But as far as the $5 Indians, black people need to stop claiming that. And just like the when you got black people call themselves West Indians, black people are not West Indians. You're not Indians.
Yeah.
You're not Indians.
Oh, you got it. Okay. Hold on, brother. The
Mm.
one I copied, the first one, you can have them too, but I want you to the one JT Blackman 43 Catherine. That's why I want you to send the message through that. Send a message through that. All right, I'm glad you got it. Go ahead, bro. I'm sorry. What you were saying?
Yeah, just like we have the West Indian parade. Those black people ain't West. They not Indian people. That's another thing that gets me too. They're not Indians. They just occupied the land because all the Indians had either left or died off. And that's another thing people got to understand. A lot of African people took on these names because of the enslavement. And the same thing happened over there too. Black people was enslaved by the native Indians too. This is the reason why you got black people saying, I'm West Indian. You're not Indian people, you're African people. You know, I don't understand that. I don't know where they're getting this from. Like it's just nonsense, man. So now you have a parade called West Indian Parade. You know, it's like how come they can't say West African Parade? You know what I'm saying? Like, why does it have to? Because most of us come from West Africa. How come we can't have a West African parade? Think about it. I don't understand that. It just don't make any sense. But what do I know, right? I'm just an angry black man.
Yeah. What do we know, right? What do we know, right? I know this much. A lot of knowledge had been kicked last night into this morning. I can tell you that much. And let me get this out before we close this out. This is not the FBA platform. This is not Pan-African platform. This is my platform. Deal with humanity, especially us as African diaspora. I said, you know, African descent. And everything else goes to my channel. But thank y'all. This is the last of any brother. Do you want me to call you in a few minutes or not? Or you want me to call you today? Later on today.
You can call me later on today.
I call all right, no problem. I'll call you later on today. Got you. So this is the last of Indians in this USA enslaved African Americans. Let's talk. I think we got it out. He proved it. If you still don't get it, I don't know what to tell you. But good night. Good morning. Thanks for y'all participating. This one is Ghost. Peace.
Peace. Ghost.